Hi, I'm Keith Trim with KeithTrim.com, and I'm here in Beatrice today with Christopher Knowles, who owns C&L Baseball Card Shop, and we're here to discuss comic books. Chris, what is your background in comic books?
I actually started up the store here. Did sports cards before that, but started getting comic books when I got to this location in 1991.
And how long have you been into comic books?
Probably since the mid-70s.
Okay. And you mentioned earlier to me before off camera that you had come across some relatively older stuff.
Yes.
And you sold on eBay. What did you come across?
Actually, I brought in a collection of older comic books and want to see what I could do for them on eBay for them. And Avengers #1, X-Men #1, and Amazing Spider-Man #1.
Okay. So you're pretty much an expert on this. You know what you're talking about.
Yep.
So the reason why I came over is because we wanted to talk about movies a little bit. Because just recently, where's it at here? I got the new Thor came out, and I was asking Chris what his favorite movies were.
Yeah.
So let's have a little chit chat here, and tell me a little bit about what you like in the movies.
Oh, a little bit of everything, but for comic book wise, staying fairly close to the storyline if they can, but yet having a good story of their own to bring more people into the comic books and let people know what the character's about.
So who's done a good job?
So far, some of the better ones I think have been, of course, Spider-Man #2. Movie I thought was probably about the best that I liked. Batman, the newer run line, was really good. And my other, of course, Iron Man. Marvel finally did that, and that was awesome. And of course, we had the Thor that came out this year, which was one of the best this year.
So of those movies, are they your top choices as far as?
Yeah.
So tell me, what movies do you think didn't fare so well?
In my opinion, anyway, ones I wasn't as liking of would be most of the X-Men movies. They were still good movies to watch, to enjoy, but didn't really follow the storylines very well, and kind of botched on a few of the good characters I liked. Elektra was kind of very slow-paced. Wasn't a bad movie, but definitely wasn't up there very far at all.
Okay.
And of course, the last Spider-Man movie, after the second one being so good, was a very big disappointment for me.
Okay. If you had your choice of what you could, other than what's been done, what would you like to see get done?
What I'd like to see get done, most of them would be just storylines that bring in more of the characters from the comics. Like for Marvel, I'd love to see something to go on with like the Thanos quest. That brings in a lot of the Avengers and most of the Marvel characters, even though the budget would be enormous. I know they probably won't do anything with that unless they do something with it with the Avengers, which by all the movies this year so far, they're showing some possibilities towards that.
Okay. We picked out some movies, some books to talk about here. I know Captain America's on the books.
Yep. It'll be out in this July.
And they're trying to tie that in with Thor, aren't they?
Yeah.
And how is that?
Well, mostly because the movie coming out in the next couple years, they're going to come out with a movie called The Avengers, which both those characters are in the same movie, along with Iron Man as well.
Okay.
So they're just starting to do stuff to tie the movies in together to help with the launch of the Avengers movie.
It seems to me like comic book movies are everywhere and have been at least since Batman. Well, I can go back as far as Superman.
Right.
But that was when, 78?
Yeah. Right around there. Yeah.
When did that Batman come out?
Batman came out probably, what, 82, 81?
So that was pretty close, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
So would that Superman be like the launch of the whole thing?
Well, some of the launch of, well, for more our age, probably. Otherwise, they had Green Hornet back in the 50s and that, with radio. So comic books have been around for quite a while, even within the radio business.
Were those on, I know Green Hornet wasn't on TV? Or I think
they had TV as well, just like the old 70s Batman.
Okay, so starting with Christopher Reeve and going up with, well, let me ask you this, because there was a new Superman out. How do you compare the two?
It's really tough to. The graphics now they can do so much better, so they can do so much better with the graphics on the movies that it's hard to compare them with the older ones. I think some of the older ones' storylines might have been better, but they didn't have the graphics to make it look as good.
I know, I watched that last Superman, and it was a snore fest. I mean, the guy was not a Christopher Reeve.
No, he wasn't. I think he did a good job for what it was, but Superman's not one of my favorite characters. He's a good character, but not one that ever interests me a lot.
And Batman's been at least, what, 3 guys now?
Yeah, 3 or 4. 4 now.
And who was your favorite?
My favorite probably was Michael Keaton.
And why is that?
I like him as an actor, and I just thought he pulled off the character fairly well.
Is there anyone you didn't really care for? I can't
They
remember.
were all okay. I mean, the movies overall, like the last Batman movie for the new relaunch a few years ago, was probably my least favorite because they tried to put in too many characters and didn't get the characters across very well.
Okay, explain to me just again, why did they do the Joker again?
Oh, why'd they do the Joker again? It's a new relaunch for the new series, so of course they have to put in the most popular villain for Batman, and that would be the Joker.
So was that a continuation of the old story? Or
No, this is a total new relaunch for the Batman series.
So we just ignore the fact that the other one happened.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Why did they do that?
For a new generation, to capture a new generation, and like I said, Batman's one of the most popular comic book characters there is.
Okay. Is there anything coming up in the movies in the future that you know about? You probably know more than I do.
Yeah, we got, of course, Captain America coming out in July. We got, within the next year, we got Avengers coming out. They're also in the works of a new Superman movie as well.
Okay.
So they're talking about that, and of course, another Batman movie.
Well, let's get off
They're
topic
actually
a
working.
little bit. I'm a big fan of the Alien movies, and I know they turned it into a comic book,
Yeah.
and back into movies again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if I like where it's going. What do you think?
Not sure. I haven't been keeping up with what's going on the net lately, but they're always trying new ideas and new things.
I mean, Alien versus Predator. I bet that movie was pretty good. I liked
Yes,
it.
it was. The comic book was really awesome, so they didn't do too bad of a job.
I just wonder if they're losing character to Flash.
They might be.
So
Losing some.
are they marketing that more to kids now?
With those, I don't see how they could really market them to kids as much.
Because
since
they're all
the violence.
PG-13. Yeah, I know they're very violent.
So they
movies.
can't, but kids have always liked the comics, and a lot of kids do like horror. So
Well, since we're in the comic book, what besides the superheroes, what else genres do you sell?
the other genres that actually been doing well is zombies.
And why is that?
Well, evidently everybody likes zombies.
Well, there's been a few zombie movies out
Yes,
lately.
it has. Well, they had the Marvel zombies, where they turned all the Marvel characters into zombies, and how they took over Earth, and they're going out into space now and taking over other planets.
Alrighty. Well, I do know there's that vampires seem to come and go an awful lot
Yeah,
too.
that does too.
So is it just cycle and cycle and cycle?
Yeah. It always seems like it runs in cycles and then changes, and a few years later things rerun again.
So how are the vampires doing these days?
Comic book wise, they haven't been doing a lot. They actually, in the Marvel system, actually killed off Dracula, actually this year, and they got a new guy coming out in the Avengers right now, comics, that's starting to come out in Fear Itself storyline.
So comic books doesn't deal with vampires as much as just like...
No, they don't.
Not really.
There is some, of course they've had the Buffy comic book, which obviously has to do with vampires. They've had True Blood from that TV series as comic books as well, so...
Okay, is there anything that you could think of that's been... It's kind of a loaded question, but beat to death?
As of lately, zombies have been, but people still like it, so they keep coming in for it.
You just keep reinventing and find something new.
Rechanging, yeah.
Because
like
I'm thinking,
with the movies
because they
too.
change the rules on vampires, it seems to me, every time they come out.
They do. But it's always somebody else's new twist on the idea.
I guess I like my vampires the way they used to be. I don't know. I'm old.
I like mine from the Buffy storyline. I always liked the TV series, so I've always liked that style to that point too, where they can be good or bad, but they still have the bad tendencies.
Well, when I see them walking around in the sunlight and stuff, but then I like the Blade movies a lot.
Blade are pretty good.
Well, the first two at least were pretty
Yeah.
good. Until Wesley Snipes stopped paying his taxes.
Yeah.
I don't get that. So anyway, since we're down here, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Well, there's a lot of new stuff coming out in comics. Just come down or check online, see what new storylines are coming out, see what people might be
So if
interested
somebody
in.
finds a Superman #1 vintage condition, they want to unload it, they come in here, right?
Yes, I can take it. I can sell them on eBay for them. I'm a trading assistant on eBay as well.
So you are the expert in this area.
Yes.
Great. It's Christopher Knowles, and thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you.